Hey guys, welcome to Karate Talk with Shihan and Shihan. Hey Shihan.
Hi, Shihan.
All right guys, so we're on episode number 9, and last week we started talking about bullying because October is National Bully Awareness Month, or Anti-Bullying Month, however you want to look at it. And we've been concentrating on a lot of that curriculum in class as well with our students. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had access to it out there. And of course, if you want more information about it, we have that website, Martial Artists Against Bullying. Mm-hmm. It's donewithbullying.com. Make sure to check that out if you guys want more information. But today we're going to be talking, recap a little bit about bullying and what we covered last week. And then also I want to get into what happens if somebody else is getting bullied. Because I know that's a hard subject, or hard thing to do, actually, a hard subject to bridge into, but for somebody to step in and actually take action to help another, it's really challenging to do. So helping out and just giving a little bit of advice on that subject. So first off, let's recap kind of what we went over last week. So Tim?
So we got, first of all, what is bullying, right? So the short of it is that bullying is someone who's using an imbalance of power to be hurtful in a repetitive and purposeful way, right? So those two ingredients are key. It's going to be repetitive, meaning it's not just an isolated incident, it's sort of an ongoing thing, and it's targeted and purposeful. It's not like an accidental thing, right? And of course, it's being hurtful. Now, hurtful might be emotionally hurtful, right? Someone's feelings might get hurt, mentally hurtful, psychologically hurtful, but of course, we all know that it could be physical harm as well. Pushing, punching, stuff like that. So that's what bullying is. Now, we want to remember that there's reasons that people choose to bully, and it doesn't necessarily make them a bad person on the inside, but they've made bad choices, right? And we want to just kind of remember that, just to make sure that we give people kind of the opportunity to sort of rehabilitate.
And then we're also not reacting based on what we feel they might be doing, or they're trying to be hurtful because of this, when we don't know what their background is and what's happening behind the scenes. Or maybe we do, but we need to understand that it's not the person that's a bad person. They're just making poor choices at that time. And then, of course, what to do if it's happening to you, using those 5 ways that we say to defend yourself. So the first one is using your mind, making good choices, setting good habits, making sure that you're avoiding situations that could be negative, things like that. After that, we got to use our words, and of course in an assertive manner. We have to have confidence. We got to look them in the eye. We have to mean it when we say it. So something like, "Excuse me, can you please stop that? I don't like it." Or, "You're kind of acting like a bully right now. Will you please stop it?" And really being congruent with our words and our posturing and stuff like that. And then parents out there, make sure to practice that with your children when you have the opportunity, because the more they can practice the vocals of that, the more they can practice the words and what they're going to say, the better off they're going to be when actually in that scenario. Then use your legs, so of course walking away, and then ask for help. And the difference between asking for help and tattletelling, of course, is that emotional, maybe if we're crying or starting to dive too much into details about why I want that person to get in trouble or whatever. It's more of the facts and being calm when we're talking about it. So this week now, instead of just having it being picked on myself, now let's say, my friend Shihan here is at school and he's getting picked on. What are some things that I can do to intervene? Maybe that person's bigger and stronger than me and I'm scared, or maybe I'm too far away, or whatever. What kinds of things should I do?
So there's kind of, we break down into kind of 4 main options, right? We don't want to give too many options, because that means people are spending too much time thinking about which option to do, right? We want to give just a few. And we have to understand, keeping it simple is effective. And we want to understand that different personalities and different individuals, and same individuals on different days, might feel like they have different strengths and different weaknesses and different comfort levels with certain behaviors.
And different scenarios too, right? Everyone, depending on what they're viewing, that's going to make a big difference on how they interact with it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kind of skip to number 4 out of we usually kind of go back to this last, but number 4 is what we call reporting, what we already talked about. If nothing else, everyone has the option to go and report what they see, right? If I was at school and I saw a bigger, stronger kid picking on Shihan Sipes here, if I didn't feel like I had the confidence, the strength, I didn't want to step in because that was just a little bit too scary, I'm going to go report it. I'm going to go find an authority figure. I'm going to tell them what's going on, right? Because that's just what what we always need to do, right? So even if you don't do anything else, you always have the option of reporting, and that's perfectly okay if that's all that you do. If there's a second grader at school seeing a third grader get picked on by a fourth grader, that second grader may not feel comfortable stepping in because those are both older kids, right? And so, but if they go and report it, then that's always going to be an option.
Absolutely.
Right? So the other one that we talked about, there's 3 others that we talk about, and it's get there first, step in and take charge, and then distract and redirect. Okay, I like to call them the fast, the strong, and the clever, right? If we're talking about heroes, there's fast heroes out there, right? Like the Flash. There's strong heroes like Thor and the Hulk, and then there's clever heroes or tricky heroes. Maybe Black Widow is one of the tricky ones to keep with the Avengers analogy. But getting there first just means that when somebody recognizes. If I were to recognize that my friend Jeremy is about to get picked on because I kind of see it happen before, there's a particular time, place, and person that it always ends up seeming to happen, then I will try to get to Jeremy first. I'll interact with him before the bully gets a chance to, talk with him. We tell the kids, hey, invite them to play, invite them to show something, all right? Hey, let's go hang out. And just simply take that person away from the situation where they're getting bullied. So then the bully, hopefully... you just kind of take the opportunity away from them, right?
Yeah, exactly. They'll get the wind out of their sails, per se.
Yeah. The second one is to step in and take charge. And this is fairly straightforward, but it's the most direct. So it's probably the one that, you have to be feeling like, you're on your game and real confident with yourself to be able to do this. But basically you step in and you stand up for the person who's getting bullied in their place, right? This is a direct confrontation. This is where you step in between the bully and the victim if you can, right? And you tell them straight up to stop. Now, it's real important in this case that you have that strong demeanor, right? Just like when you're standing up for yourself. Posture, eye contact, calm but assertive, right? Mean what you say. We usually tell the kids to say something like, stop picking on Jeremy. You're being a bully right now, okay? And keep it simple like that, right? And that empowers people to maybe be able to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to, going on the flip side of that is you don't want to come in appearing weak because then you could put yourself in a situation where then you're now the target of that person's directions, whatever their actions are, whether it's words or physical or whatnot, but you don't want to be that side of it. So definitely having that good posture.
And being calm and assertive is also important because we don't want to teach people to kind of come on a little too strong and accidentally sort of escalate the situation when we really want the de-escalation to be happening.
And this can go not just for kids, but all the way through to adults. You see someone, just being a jerk or being rude or something like that, and you want to take charge. It could be the leaving and reporting. It could be the redirection, just trying to get that person out of that situation. Or, if I feel the need to step in there and take action, I can't add fuel to the fire, right? I don't want to get that person irritated or angry more and cause a fight, but I can stand up for people, and that is totally appropriate.
The final, or what I will call our third option, is what we call distract and redirect. And this one is fairly sophisticated, but there's certain personalities like we see in the classes. Certain kids, certain individuals have that sort of like, they're clever, they're smart, they're sharp, they're quick-witted. And so if that's your personality, then you may feel comfortable with this. And it's basically where you are interacting direct with the bully. Like if I saw Jeremy about to pick on my friend Beth, or even picking on my friend Beth and getting it started, I might come and engage with Jeremy and say something like, hey, don't you like basketball? I saw you wearing a basketball shirt the other day.
Yeah,
right? What's your favorite team?
The Kings.
Okay, so if you were on the Kings, which position would you play?
Point guard.
Right. So do you think it would be cool? Maybe we could play basketball sometime or something.
Yeah, cool.
Right on. And then I take Beth and I go away. Now that maybe is a little bit of a prolonged example, but the idea is to sort of throw the bully off their game by distracting them with some kind of random question or topic. All right. It's the old version of, hey, look over there. And then taking them away, right? And it always ends with taking our friend Beth or whoever is the kind of the victim. We always need to sort of get them out of that situation, guide them away, invite them to go play, invite them to go do something else.
Yeah, and it's almost like it seems with a lot of these options is that the bully's at a point where either they're in a bad spot mentally and they're looking for someone to pick on, or maybe they're bored and they're just looking for something to do, and that's the thing that they choose to do, and you're just not there during that opportunity. So whether it's pulling them away or stopping them at that point in time and then moving on after you're out of that position, you're no longer, you know, in a situation where you can get bullied. So constantly trying to remove yourself from those negative sources, whatever they are. So those are, you know, 3 great points. And then the last one, of course, reporting, like you said, is always an option. And then making sure that you're towing the line of not going towards tattletaling. So if you see anyone that's, you know, that person's shoes are funny and then you go tell on them or whatever, you don't want to be on that side of it. But, you know, you've seen Mr. Leard out there. He's gotten picked on for the last couple of days, and you're not really liking it, and you want to have some help or being able to help that person. Go report. Say, hey, Mrs. Smith, you know, Mr. Laird's been getting picked on the last couple of days, and the bully won't stop even though he's walking away. Can you help? And I'm sure that those people in your life, whether they're teachers or parents or some sort of authority figure, will definitely be willing to help. And then on top,
if I can jump on that real quick. So and with the kids, and I mean this, of course, this stuff is all ages. The concept applies, right? But with the kids, it's important that we kind of get them into the habit of thinking that reporting is just what you do. Because we all know in reality that a single report doesn't always mean immediate action. It's unfortunate, but sometimes it just doesn't happen like as fast as we would hope it to or want it to. But if the kids are in the habit, and maybe there's a lot of kids in the same grade that all kind of understand, okay, reporting is what you do. And then we have what we call, I don't know, a paper trail, I guess, right? So if more kids are just responsibly, calmly reporting what they see, after enough reports, a trend is set, and the people in charge, administrators, teachers, right, they understand that there's really is a pattern happening here. It's not just an isolated incident. It's not just one kid always telling on a particular kid. It's kind of coming from a lot of different directions, and that can help finally kind of move things forward when sometimes we'd like there to be a little bit faster a response. It doesn't always end up that way.
Yeah, I hear a lot of times parents saying, I wish that bullying would be combated a little bit more in schools and things like that, and I think that would be a great way to you know, really get the system rolling in the right direction to help people understand, like, okay, this is a thing. It's not just arbitrary, because I think that's where the paper trail or the notes come into play, is that if it's just all hearsay, it makes it really easy to either discount it or to enforce way too hard. We can go, you know, either way with it, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting accurate information and making sure that we're taking care of the problem and getting a good solution, right? If a student is really being rude and picking on people and stuff like that, we want to really make sure that, you know, it's something they get taken care of. If it's just a kid that's, you know, kind of being a little rough around the edges, or just, you know, not making good remarks and not being malicious about it, but they just need to be reminded, well, that needs to be known too, so that it can be dealt with appropriately. So and then the last thing that we wanted to cover today is buddying. So the idea of buddying is pretty much the exact opposite of bullying. It's going out of our way to be kind to others on purpose so that they feel better about themselves, right? And everyone is happier and we all have a better time.
If bullying is being hurtful repetitively and purposefully, then buddying is being helpful or friendly repetitively and purposely, right?
Absolutely. And so finding ways that we can, you know, reach out to people maybe we don't connect with all the time, because we're usually nice to our friends and kind to those people around us on a regular basis, but maybe it's that classmate that we're in the same classroom every day, but we don't interact at lunch, or, you know, we don't hang out any other time. So maybe I choose a couple of times a week to go interact with that person, whether it's, hey, you want to, you know, discuss the book that we read in class, or do you want to play this game that we're playing, or can I sit down and have lunch with you? You never know how those interactions might, you know, make somebody feel. You might just make their day, because you know, maybe they are feeling a little bit down, or maybe you helped them out with a problem that they had in school, or you taught them a skill that they've been wanting to learn for a long time. There's lots of ways that we can, you know, do fun things with new people and create those bonds, but also help people build confidence and feel good about themselves. So is there anything that you can add to buddying that
I would say
somebody maybe an example or something that, you know, just to look out for?
Yeah, so the concept is a pretty powerful one, right? So we're not just talking about, hey, be friendly instead of being mean. Cool. But it can have this incredible ripple effect and sort of this synergistic expansion, right, with a given population. So imagine that we're teaching kids at the karate class to be friendly on purpose, to go out of their way to greet people, right? We have a drill called polite greeting where we practice how to look somebody in the eye and smile and confidently say hello. And imagine if a bunch of kids are doing that at school, what kind of things can happen as a result of that? First of all, those children are showing confidence in a way that makes them less likely to be targeted, right? Less likely to be victims, right? If they're proactive about going out and meeting people and they're able to interact in a confident manner, they're automatically kind of off the list of targets for people who might decide to bully. If they are being friendly to those potential targets, right? If there are the shy kids, the loners, right? They're starting to get included. They feel a little bit better. Their confidence starts to get boosted because of the way they're being treated by these other cool people, right? Again, that makes them less likely to be targeted and victimized. And here's the best part, right? There may be kids out there, all right, who are about to take that step, all right? They are on the way to becoming or starting to bully someone because of all those reasons we talked about before. Something about them is they don't feel in control of their lives. They're upset. They're being bullied by someone else in another context. There's some reason, and they're like, who am I? Maybe I need to start picking on people to be popular. And suddenly, right, confident and friendly kids are coming up to them and being, hey, how you doing? And treating them well and giving them an example to follow that's better, right? So instead of going down one path, they're suddenly shown another path, and thereby we can stop potential bullying before it happens by elevating those people that would otherwise engage in it and giving them a little bit more self-esteem and giving them a little bit more belonging so that they don't feel like they need to do that.
Absolutely. So. Awesome stuff. Well, thank you, Shihan. I really appreciate it. Hopefully that helps some of you guys out there. Make sure to check back in with part 1 if you missed that last week. Just to see some of the options for what to do if it's happening to you individually. And then, always refer back to this or check out that donewithbullying.com if you want more information. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope that this can help with the bullying because we know it's a thing. We want to make sure that it stops. But of course, we can only do it one person at a time. So take care. Tune in next week. It's episode number 10. We're going to do something fun with it. So take care, and we'll see you then. See you later, guys.